So tell me, what does streaking mean to you?
So streaking is where you send a photo over Snapchat to one of your friends every single day, and then you try and get it as high as you can. So it's a bit of fun.
Spot on.
Looking specifically at numbers, we define Gen Z as those born between 1995 and 2012.
1995 just happens to be the year the internet was commercialized, so that also captures the generation of people who were born after the internet existed, who don't know a world without the internet.
Generation Z. Who are they and what place do they hold in today's society? Generation Z are the demographic born between 1995 and now, and as the digital natives of the world, won't dare to be seen anywhere without a phone in their hands and earpods in their ears. Although these may be unfair stereotypes of young people today, the fact that they are more disengaged than ever from the news is a truism, and the question we're answering today is, why are they notorious for their disengagement with the news, and what can we do to change that? Studies show that less and less young people are engaging with the news, and broadcast news in particular. Broadcast news refers to the information you receive via the TV, radio or newspapers, as opposed to online news and social media or YouTube. Now I'm sure many of you are asking, why Nicola? Please tell us why this is the case and what we can do to fix this. Well my friends, today I'm going to present to you 3 helpful tips and tricks to get young people to better engage with the news. First of all, we're going to get into the mind of a young person and ask her why she doesn't give a hoot about the news today. Hello Louise.
Hello Nicola.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I've got a few questions to get us started. What are the main reasons why you choose not to engage in the news?
What's the point? Everything I need to know is on Instagram and Snapchat. Everything else is boring, like it doesn't even affect me. Also, have you seen the news lately? It's always just about someone getting killed or Donald Trump. I have no idea what's going on half the time. Oh, and another thing, it's just old people and they use all these unnecessary words that don't even make sense to me.
So, what you're saying is the stories in mainstream news don't make any sense to you, and you'd rather spend your time watching Netflix or YouTube?
Pretty much.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Now let's examine the key points Louise made and figure out a resolution. So, as Louise said, the news is not aesthetically appealing, therefore needs to be more visually engaging. It's often hard to know what's going on, therefore more context is needed in news stories. It's hard to know what's going on in the news, therefore it needs to be delivered by someone who is more relatable for young people. And after extensive research, I believe the area at fault is television news. The layout of news stories on TV are disengaging to say the least, and that is why many young people are choosing to tune out. I believe television news can become more visually appealing through the use of video, images and GIFs. More context should be given in stories so younger audiences don't feel as though they are out of the loop. And if the stories were delivered by younger people, that would make it much more engaging and relatable as well. Now, I acknowledge that the news has a certain time slot on television, and added context and images for young people's benefit would make it go longer. But maybe this is a sign that we need to cut out pointless cooking segments and ridiculous interviews, and pay attention to the real news and how it can be delivered in a more interesting way. If news programs made some more effort to speak to younger people without being condescending, they might actually listen and be more engaged. And I know that's a little offensive to call the Today Show and Sunrise News because they are technically breakfast programs, but they're just such an easy target when you think about how many people consider it news. But hey, at least we're not drinking wine and talking about wrestlers and their love life and calling it news. What I'm trying to say is that Generation Z are often portrayed as young, dumb and broke. But the truth is, there's more to them than that. I believe they're just a bunch of young'uns trying to find their bearings in this fast-paced world. And the only way to keep up is to watch news that is highly disengaging and, dare I say it, boring. All we need is news delivered by a familiar face that includes more context with inclusive language that might actually make sense to young people and more interesting visuals, and we're already halfway there. So together, let's end this pandemic of disengagement and spice things up in order to get Generation Z back into the world of journalism and news.